But I have the other ones available in there. But
So, Luke, what are you drinking today? Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
That's going to be the bow after that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yo! I learned my lesson from last time. What a welcome, thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day?
I'm going to do you a favor, James. I just say, later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like one of our drawstrings, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Man, it's I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Bam! Yes, guys. It is a Sunday. It is Sunday, guys. This means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their creations and their campaigns. Because, guys, frankly, I'm kind of bored with mainstream. Mainstream, kind of sucks. And indie is where the passion is, guys. All right. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend and a nice Sunday, nice relaxed Sunday. My weekend has been pretty busy. Yesterday I visited family. You need to go out there, be social. Otherwise I would just write every day. I just can't. You need to keep in touch with people, right? But today was writing day, so I wrote about five script pages. Pretty cool. I'm pretty happy. So yeah. Was a good day. When I get to write and I'm satisfied with the scene, it's a good day to me, So that, and furthermore, I have my campaign going on. So my campaign right now is live. The Perfection Collection, guys, which is the trade paperback of the first 6 issues of Perfect 10. Perfect 10. Some of you know. I write comics, I make comic books, right? And I have this series called Perfect 10, and issue 6 is out. It is done. It is printed. It's in the United States also. So Critical Blast, he does distribution in the United States. They will take care of the single issues this month, and they are now putting together the trade paperback. So hopefully within some weeks they will ship those out also. The link is below, guys. Go check it out. It's also pinned. It's pinned. It's pinned there. Yes. All right, guys. Let's see who's with us in the chat today. Pops from the Madness Entertainment Group. Welcome, Pops. Nice to see you, sir. Guys, it's because of Pops right here that we are broadcasting through multiple channels. We are part of the Madness Entertainment Group, so multiple platforms. Thank you so much, Pops. Thank you, sir. And welcome. And we have Will from the Will Studios. Welcome, Will. Nice to see you, man. What's happening, Dave? Well, just writing and talking with other creators and talking with you guys. That's my day today. So I love that. Guys. And we have Shadow Deer 13. Welcome. He says, Nick. Welcome, Shadow Deer. Nice to see you. Gorilla Mar. Hey, Gorilla Mar, catching the live stream today. Nice to see you, sir. Excellent. And of course, Mike is with us. Welcome, Mike. Jamin Energy, good day and drink to all. Rest in peace, Sam Keith, and love Pau's Ravik excitement, Go Perfection collection. Thank you, Mike. Yes, we need to talk about Mr. Sam Keith for a little bit. That was sad news, man. And yes, Pau, indeed, he really wants to do Ravik. So I'm really considering it right now. Yes, and good to see you too, Dave. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we have a brand new guest to this particular show. Never been on this show before, which is awesome. So I can introduce you to new people and new people to you, right? Plus, I'm looking forward. I've been looking forward to talk to this gentleman. So let's just get into it, right? So let me see if I have everything set up. I do. Yes, I do, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for the guest of the hour, Mr. Nick Patch.
I appreciate the applause. I really wasn't expecting it. Thanks, guys. How's it going, Dave?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you, man?
Doing great. I got myself a drink.
That's good. Wait. Then we have tackled the first question.
Oh,
what is it? What are you drinking right now?
I am just drinking the basic Coors Light. Just trying to keep my figure. Coors Light, yes, sir.
Coors, that's like soda. Is it beer? What? I never heard of it.
Sorry, it is. Yeah, it's beer.
It's beer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Wait. I don't want to miss comments, Nick. So Grillamar says, welcome. Mike says, welcome, Nick.
Thanks, Mike.
Excellent. All right. Nick, you also like writing. I just started the show with telling people that I love writing and have the scene ready, and I'm excited about it. I have some projects coming up that I'm really excited about it, creating these worlds and characters. And you're a writer also. So how much do you recognize that's excitement about writing?
Yeah, writing is the thing that I got into comics for, and I've done movies and stuff, and writing was always the thing that I cared the most about. Art's important, and then as far as movies, directing and acting, it's all important, but the writing is the foundation, and it's the thing I found to be the most important, and the thing I have the most fun doing as well.
Right.
So yeah, I love it.
Did you say you did movies?
Yeah, I've done some, I don't know how many. I've done a few short films.
Really?
Yeah, longer than most short films. Most people do like 5 minutes. They say you should keep it to 5 minutes because it's easier to get into festivals and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, I just was always more ambitious than that. So mine are 20 minutes, most of the time.
Wow.
But yeah, so I've done a few of those. I wrote and directed most of them, and then one of them someone else wrote. That was the director. I did have like there was a lot of back and forth on the script after he brought it to me, but it was his idea. His name's Peter Christensen. He's great. He's doing a thing that is for his book series where he has a world building channel on YouTube, and he talks about the lore and magic system while he shows himself time lapse doing art for it.
Right.
So it's really cool. Oh, I should plug it if I'm going to talk about it. It's Arcane Crime on YouTube. Arcane
Crime?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to check that out. Arcane Crime, which is pretty cool because I happen to be working on some sort of fancy thing. So I'm checking out these channels about world building, and I like to see what other people do, and particularly how they do it, right? Um, so you made videos, you made short movies. You actually did you actually send them to, like, you said that you could, like, people
Festivals,
can
yeah.
festivals? Yes.
Yeah, got into. I never pushed them out as much as I probably should have, but I did get into some more local festivals that I submitted for. So I'm out in Utah, so I got into the Utah Film Festival and some other smaller ones. The Utah Film Festival has kind of changed their format where they basically go every month instead of every year. So it's lost
Okay.
its
Wow.
it's lost its it's no longer a special event.
Right.
So I wish they would have just
Every
kept doing
month.
it every year. Every
Wow.
month, yeah. It's
So every month. So there's basically so much content that they can do one every month. There's new
yeah.
material every time, every week, every day.
The way I see it is they're basically lowering the bar because they need content. So if you're
Yeah.
going to do it every year, you have 100 to pick from, and you're going to get the top 20 or whatever it is. But if you're doing it every month, you kind of just have to, you need to fill the slots. So
You go with
you're going to have
whatever.
to lower the
Yeah.
bar. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wish they would have just kept doing it every year. I might have, kept doing short films and submitting to them, but I write features, and we're trying to get some of those produced and that kind of a thing. But I decided to come back to comics because I kind of had a realization that you can do a lot more in comics. And I've been a fan of comics since I was in junior high. I didn't grow up in an area that has a comic shop. I have to drive an hour to get to a comic shop, and it was hard to convince someone to drive me out there when I wasn't able to drive myself. So I didn't get into them until junior high, and I've kind of talked about it before, but they were kind of mystical items to me. Like, I've heard about them, seen them in movies and TV shows of people having them. My grandpa would tell stories about how him and his friends would each buy one, back when they were in the dime stores on the rack. His friends would each buy one month, and then they'd all pass it around, and someone else would buy the next one the next month, and they'd all pass them around. So I heard these stories, and my stepdad, his father had a collection of comics, but his father was passed away. So these were like things that I wasn't able to like go through and read or look at. So yeah, they were talismans to me, until junior high. And then I got to kind of go in and get them. And then when I got my own job when I was 16, I was able to like get subscriptions and buy more. And I would get cheap runs from mycomicshop.com. I would get those for like my birthday or for Christmas, because those are like really cheap. They're like probably more now, but at the time they were like a couple bucks a piece to get, from the 90s. Like
Yeah.
Sean Chen, the one that I remember loving the most, and I had other ones, but this is the one I loved the most, was Sean Chen and Kurt Busiek, I believe, on Iron Man. And I loved that run. It was 96 or something like that, and I got all of them. I've told this story before, but I don't think you've heard it. I ended up giving those away to the son of a coworker, and I learned later that he liked to take panels that he liked and cut them out and put them on his wall.
No.
Yeah. No,
that's gotta hurt, man.
Oh, it hurts. Yeah, but
Oh no.
I will recollect that series one day. So, but yeah, when I was in high school, I tried to do a Kickstarter for a comic book. And it's funny, on the closeout stream for Roy Beckwith #1, I kind of reviewed it with some people, the original campaign, and there was like no visuals. It was just a really poorly done campaign.
Okay.
And but yeah, anyway, so I decided to come back to it because I realized you can do a lot with it. And when I had failed that campaign, because I was young, I was just still in high school, I kind of was mad. I was like, it's not my fault. It's that I'm just bigger than comic books. I'm meant for the screen, you know.
All right.
Which, little young prideful me was thinking that, and so I started doing short films and stuff. Quickly realized actually there's a lot I didn't know about writing and storytelling, and I really started focusing on story structure and technique and craft for 10 years, kind of perfecting I call it story chemistry, perfecting my own system of structure. And I decided I want to come back to comics, and I had 256 issue thing planned that I wanted to do. This big epic story.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I ended up not doing that because I got Jarrett involved, Jarrett Katz, the artist on Roy Beckwith. And he said, man, like, because we were pitching to Image, and he said, they're not going to pick that up. Like, that's too big. You should do something smaller first and prove yourself, and then maybe pitch that. And I was like, that's a good point. And so I did. I took a character that I've had for a long time that I wrote feature films for that were just so ambitious. This is Roy Beckwith, like Pirates of the Caribbean level budget. Like, it would have been expensive, and it's hard to pitch that as a nobody with a nothing IP, you know. So I decided, well, I'll do a story with that, and I did. It was just 3 issues, and Image didn't pick it up. I was like, do I pitch it to other people, or do I just do it? And I thought, well, I'll just do it, you know. And then I quickly realized I wanted it to be more than just 3 issues, that I wanted this bigger, more epic thing. So instead of 256, it's 64. Still ambitious, people say. And
that's very ambitious, especially for indies, right? When you can produce books once per month, then then you have like this attainable timeline. But when you need to do crowdfunding and fund your products that way, what did you say? 46 issues. That's a large undertaking, man. Oh, 64. Yeah.
You flipped the numbers. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 64. Yeah, but so the goal is to get to the point where we're doing, because the arcs are set up in 8 issues, so it's 8 issue arcs that obviously all build up to, you know, a bigger story. It's not a sandbox. This is all planned. It's a epic story. That's the best way for me to describe it, because it has a huge scope. There's 35 characters that come in and out. We're not focused on 35 characters every issue, but we focus on about 9 characters, and they'll kind of rotate between the arcs. Some will come back, some die, some stay for a few arcs in a row. You know, it's all kind of weird and mathy. With my crazy story chemistry structures, but so 35 characters, big scope, long story, 64 issues. So epic is the only word that I can really think of to match what it is. And this is not just a filler word.
And this is a creation that you basically made in school. Correct?
No. Well, so Roy Beckwith kind of came up when I was 18. I was still living with my mom, and I didn't have a job at the time. I was in between jobs, and she woke up to get ready for work, and the noise kind of woke me up, and I was having a dream about Roy Beckwith, the character, basically, and I wrote multiple screenplays of that character. But the story chemistry, just for 10 years, I've just been teaching myself, and Like I try to take other people's story structures with a grain of salt. What I've noticed is a lot of, if you look at Save the Cat, for example, it's basically a list of tropes. It's not a structure. I would even say the same thing about Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces, the hero's journey. Some of that stuff is concrete and necessary, and really he's hitting the nail right on the head. But then some things like the redemption of the father, and what's the other one that I always think is weird? The death of the mentor. And like, there's all these things that are like tropes. Yeah, like you could have that, sure.
Yeah, they even specify about what point in the story this needs to happen, right?
Oh yeah, Save the Cat is the worst for that. It has page numbers. This is the page where this happens. That's so I think it's ridiculous. I think it ruined Hollywood. But you see all these things and you notice, I mean, they have some good stuff, but a lot of it is just tropes that are unnecessary and are clogging up the arteries of your story.
Right.
And so I took Dan Harmon's simplification of the hero's journey, which he calls the story circle. I took that and I fixed it. Maybe you know, a little bit. You know, I fixed it. It's way better with the way that I. Of course.
Yeah.
But and then when you get to the point where you can make an arc for a character, then the question becomes, how do you make different characters have different arcs that interact in a way that is meaningful and impactful? And then basically you just have more and more questions as you figure things. It's like this, oh, I solved this. Now that kind of reveals this other problem. So how do I solve that? And it just, story chemistry just developed over 10 years of doing short films and writing screenplays and writing the structure for the comic book series that one day I want to do. It still 256 issues. I will make that happen. I want to do it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it won't end arbitrarily like The Walking Dead. Just he said, well, this felt like the ending, says Robert Kirkman. I don't know, man. It seems like you maybe should have had a little bit of a plan. And it ended up being like the biggest show on TV at the time. But because of a lack of structure, it petered out and it started to feel repetitive. And because less and less people were watching it, they had to have lower and lower budgets to making money. So their churn was high. Churn being, the marketing term, business term for customers who decide to stop being customers. So yeah.
They call it churn?
Churn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
welcome, Crenshaw, by the way. All right, churning out. Crenshaw, welcome, sir. He says, oh, hey, it's my pal, Nick. Hi, Dave and chat pals. Welcome, Crenshaw.
Hey, how's it going, Crenshaw? Great guy.
And Mike says, up till the turn into century, I'd say even no local comic book shop. Spinner racks could be found across North America in almost every supermarket, gas station, convenience store, roadside restaurant, everywhere. And he says, Hollywood ruined Hollywood. As Tom York sang, you do it to yourself, you do.
Good point.
Yeah. Did you also read The Walking Dead? Did you read the comic books series?
I was so that's actually a funny story. So my cousin, he was always ahead of the curve on everything. So before the series actually came out on TV, a couple years before, he gave me a few volumes of the first few volumes of The Walking Dead. So I read the first 3 or 4, the bigger books.
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't really have access to these things. We didn't have a lot of money. It was kind of hard to get, a big run of, of these volumes for me. But I I loved that early stuff, and I was young too, so it was probably perfect age for me to be introduced to that. I was 11 or 12, so it's edgy. You know, it feels like I'm not supposed to be reading this. I kind of grew up in a religious household, so I
Oh,
kind of had to keep it a secret that I had these volumes.
yeah.
But I never read the whole thing. I did read all of, or almost all of, Invincible. That just, that kind of, I just lost interest, you know, at a certain point. But I read almost all of it. And yeah, just, and, you know, Kirkman, he's done some great stuff. I don't want to get down on him, but I do think that he needed some structure earlier on, because things, he clearly kind of has an idea of what he wants to do for the whole thing, but things start to feel like, oh, now he's just making up the next things to happen, if that makes sense. Which, yeah, like, I'm not a fan of that kind of storytelling. I prefer, like, Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings forward and backwards, because he wanted to make sure that, that the ending was impactful, and that when everything made sense, but two, that everything was leading up to the next things, that it wasn't just, well, we need stuff to happen, which is what a lot of Hollywood is now. Stuff needs to happen, you know.
Sure.
I think that's like a big criticism that people levy at the new MCU stuff is, well, stuff has to happen. Yeah. So
I don't think they had this very strict like end goal also for the first phase of the MCU, but things just worked out for them somehow, right? There was some sort of structure that just happens to work. Do you think that there is merit to comics who have no like such a structure that you prefer, like more like stories that just go on, which is rather standard in superheroes, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat. Like a sandbox thing is fine. Most shows, like if you like Star Trek, the early Star Trek, I'm not talking about like the 90s Star Trek, that stuff was actually highly structured. But the episodic stuff, I'm okay with that as long as it's good. And one of the problems we run into in like superhero comics is that you bring in different writers and they'll retcon stuff because they want to make their mark on the title. And so the little arcs that they want to do kind of, it's not inhibits what basically it ruins the stuff that came before it, so that they can do the cool thing they want. And that's you know, that never happened in Star Trek. Just saying.
But that's perhaps also because Star Trek is their own like episodic stories, right? So each story does have this arc going on. So, and the theme, the overarching theme, can be stable, doesn't have to change. It's just space adventures, you know. So in that context, this works, I think, because you still have your structure.
Yeah, you have structure within the episodes. With a lot of the comics, like I think they have structure within arcs, you know, a lot of the time. But it becomes difficult when one guy wants to do something that the story he wants to tell is inhibited by the stuff that's come before, and so he just ignores it or retcons it and makes it less impactful. I think, you know, obvious example that was recently brought to it was doing the rounds on Twitter was Aunt May dying, and then them saying no, she didn't die, it was an actor that Aunt Norman Osborn. It's like, come on, guys, like that was actually impactful, and it left a mark on the Spider-Man title, and it was meaningful and impacted the audience, and now you're just going to say it didn't happen because you decided you want to bring her back. Like, I think that's cheap. And like, what makes me mad is that people die in real life and they don't come back. and
Mhm.
that should be reflected in the stories that we tell and that we consume, which is
Mhm.
why I think people liked Game of Thrones so much. That's why it kind of blew up. Which is funny because like almost no main characters died after after Ned Stark died, but I think that like resonated with audiences because this whole main character syndrome, like all of the main characters are going to survive.
Mhm. Yeah,
It, you know,
like
it,
Stranger Things.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. They
Yeah.
basically Stranger Things brings in a character every season that's going to die that season, and then no one else in the main cast
No
ever.
one else. Everyone's safe. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, it's
So
just yeah. I want people to die and then stay
Mhm.
dead. I don't want them to,
Right.
come back. And I did a post that recently that I got called out because the main mechanic in Roy Beckwith at the beginning is that this witch was resurrected from the dead, and I said we're not doing any resurrections here, but we kind of did. But she's brought back as not herself. Which I
Right.
think is important. If you're going to do like a legit magical resurrection, there needs to be consequences to it. So she's
Mhm.
basically lost all of the positive aspects of who she was and is
Mhm.
just like pure vengeance now. Basically,
Mm.
she's not who she was when she was alive. She's different.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah.
Shadow Deer says it happens in Star Trek now. Mike says there is no Star Trek now, only corrupt Paramount dragging the brand along unto death.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it loses viewers along the way, and at some point it just not. No one is watching, so
yeah.
Who cares? A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was well adapted.
Yeah, my cousin says he really likes that show. I haven't had the time to watch it. I watched the House of the Dragon seasons, and half of it's really awesome, and the other half is like not great, but it's kind of disconnected, if that makes sense. The plot lines aren't interwoven very much. Yeah, so I can enjoy the good stuff.
Oh, can you still enjoy like watching shows as because you are a filmmaker plus writer? Can you or do you constantly dissect everything that you watch?
I used to dissect really heavy. Now I feel like I understand enough that I can just watch the show. But I will say this though, I rewatch like no one's business. So I watched House of the Dragon season 1 as it was coming out. I watched the episode and then I would rewatch it all week until the next episode came out, and then I was just rewatching because I wanted to.
Oh, really?
Because I do want to know how is all the writing. The writing is the biggest thing because you can look up how to make any effect happen. There are YouTube channels all over the place on how to make special effects work and how to make the edits look good and that kind of a thing. You can find that. What you can't find almost anywhere is really how to structure and make things written really well. It's really hard to find that. It's not accessible information. So that stuff I pay attention to a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it's basically when you see something, you just know this is so well done, and you want to figure out why. Why is this so good? Why does this work? What other shows fail? I had the same thing with Breaking Bad. I watched that show 3 times.
That's such a good show.
Yes.
I love Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Just
He talks
because
about chemistry too.
right, yeah.
Yeah, he talks about, I think he's using it as a metaphor a lot of the time for storytelling, which is really interesting to me because I call my system story chemistry. But anyway, yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I love Breaking
No, it's
Bad.
cool, man. I'm really curious about your writing process. Basically every writer they have their own thing going on, and they try to structure it somehow. You need some structure, right? So, but you developed your own method. So what are the basic, like the core differences that your method has that others don't?
Well, so I'll preface by saying that most people are looking for a structure to hang a story on, right? And there are some of these structures out there. A lot of them, like I said, a lot of the plot points in them are just, they're not necessary. But you can hang a story on these frameworks. What I have done is created a system for creating any framework you want that will best fit the story you're telling. Just that's the easiest way of putting what it is and how it functions, what the end goal of it is. But what's different about what I have is it's simple. So this is what happened with Campbell to Dan Harmon, who did Community and Rick and Morty. He's kind of fallen off with Rick and Morty after the whole thing with the co-creator happened. But he saw the hero's journey and thought it was too complex. He wanted it to be more simple and more symmetrical. And I saw his and I saw problems, but one of the big things that I wanted was complexity. So he wanted simplicity and symmetry, and I love the symmetry, but I want complex symmetry. So what I did is I fixed up his circle. And so what his circle was is 8 points. You want, go, search, find, take, return, change. Those are the 8 plot points. And I wanted it to be more concrete and more versatile, which is weird. Combination, concrete and versatile. But what I did is I took it and I said, okay, we have trauma. And I consider that like actual trauma, not Twitter trauma. And actual trauma.
Yes.
You know, someone dies, you get beat nearly to death, those kinds of things. Actual trauma. And then problem. So instead of want, I have problem, because there's a problem that needs to be solved. And then we have departure, which is basically go. You know, it's the same word, same thing. And then instead of search, I have first attempt, which is your first attempt at getting the thing you think will solve your problem. And then we have second trauma, which I used to call anti-trauma, but second trauma. And that is where the character can change because the trauma taught them lessons, or they took lessons from it. I can go more in depth on that in a sec, but they can choose to change the wrong way they're going about things, their maladaptation, and they can adapt properly, or they cannot. It's up to, there are factors in why a writer would tell certain kinds of stories, which is why I like this. It's more versatile. They don't have to change there. And then we have second attempt after that. So obviously if they've adapted properly and fixed their maladaptation, then they'll have a success here and they'll get the thing that will solve their problem. And then they return, which is step 7. And then I have resolution instead of change. So resolution is the solving of the problem that came up at the beginning of the story, or it could be a negative resolution. So it gets worse, or it's made permanent, or like say, if your problem was that you're poisoned, just making this up, but if your problem was that you're poisoned, then a negative resolution to that could be you die, right? So the problem is, I guess, gone, but it's reached its, the problem has reached the ultimate end. So that's like the basics. I call that a simple circle. And then we have what's called a character core, which is when trauma happens, that trauma. So like the one that's the easiest for me to get across is, so say they lost someone died and that they were close to, then they now have a prominent fear of loss and hope for love or connection. So those are opposites of each other, right? They're not just, it's not just give them something they're afraid of and give them something they want. It's these things are tied to each other, right? Love and loss are intrinsically tied. And then they have the question of how do I avoid loss and how do I pursue love or connection? So they have answers to those questions, and one of them or both of them are wrong answers, or they could be right. It depends on the arc you're telling, right? It depends on what you want to do with it. But I like to do one of them wrong and then one of them right, because so like, for example, they might know how to pursue love, which is like care about people and, you know, love them and interact with people and get close to them. They might know how to do that and they have the right answer to that. But then their answer to how to avoid loss might be to not love and not connect. So these they don't line up. Those answers create a worldview that's disconnected. And this is actually, like, psychologically speaking, this is what creates anxiety and depression, is when your worldview doesn't mesh with itself. When you have two answers to problems that don't line up with each other. That actually is like psychologically causes anxiety and depression.
Yeah, some dissonance going on there.
Yeah, dissonance, exactly. And then when we get to problem, they will perceive this problem in a certain way. And at each, so at first attempt, second attempt, and resolution, they have chances, because they're testing their theory in the world. When they have an attempt, they can change the way they view the problem. Maybe they get more accurate, right? So, you know, your problem might be that, I guess I don't have an easy example, but your problem might be that you have no source of food, consistent source of food. Let's just go to, you know, vague, but you might view the problem as you don't have food right now, if that makes sense. So I'm hungry. That's what I think my problem is. But the real problem is that I don't have a consistent source of food. So, and then maybe when as they attempt and kind of learn, they come closer to what the actual problem is. And that basically makes what they want, which is what they think will solve the problem, and what they need, that's what will actually solve the problem. Hopefully these things come into alignment at a certain point. And that all together flows through the circle and creates a positive resolution if they can come to understand the problem and they can adapt and fix their maladaptations. So, and that's the simple circle. And that's the basics. I don't know how much crazier we want to get, but that's the basics.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, man. That's really cool. Let me say hi to a few people in the I'll read some comments that people gave. Pop says Strange Pages sounds like the perfect fit for the madness. See what I did there? Yes. Thank you, Pop. Welcome, Marinus, Cosmonaut Comics. Welcome, sir. Guys, go subscribe to Cosmonaut Comics for daily comic book reviews.
Cool.
And Mike says, I was just reminded of Clone High earlier today. Greetings, Marinus. Clone High. Okay. All right. Right. So you have your structure. Do you have this logical mindset about structuring stories, right? So do you ever, when you write something, do you ever go with your gut, or is everything just it has to work here?
This is what I've noticed is the more that you make things systematized as far as that's concerned, the less burden that there is on your gut, if that makes sense. So now the gut decisions that I'm making are about even bigger picture stuff, and I'm more able to put my intuition and the stress of trying to make the right decision into the bigger picture things rather than the tiny details and minutia of how things need to flow. So yeah, I still do have to go with my gut, and a lot of the times I'm deciding what because yeah, it's structured, but there's still a lot of creative things that I have to do, like world building. Who is this character? What's their history? How does their history kind of thematically fit into things in the rest of the story? So as far as going with my gut, yes, I still go with my gut, and though there's just more planning, and the gut decisions I have to make get more and more bigger picture as my story chemistry gets more and more developed and detailed. So yeah, that's what I'd say about that. It frees me up from having to stress about small things. I can now just stress about bigger and bigger things.
Yes, your framework works, right? So that's basically, so within that you have freedom to go wherever, right?
And there's a lot of versatility, right? So like I said, you don't have to give them both wrong answers or one. You can do all kinds of things. They don't have to fail at their first attempt. It can be a false success. It can be a success, and then they can have a negative arc. Like I can't remember how many it was.
Yes.
But there's hundreds of different arcs that you could do with this system. There's a lot of different ways that you could play it out.
Right. So with every comic you make, basically you structure it kind of the same way, right? You use your own method. You have the same way, so the same, like, I won't say patterns, but like frameworks, right? But this also goes for the longer, because you have it planned out for 64 issues.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is where you get into more complexity of the system. Like I said, the simple circle is the basics. It's basically the atomic unit of storytelling. So what you do is now you have to make molecules and compounds, right? So what we do is we layer. So you have you have the full series arc for whichever characters that applies to. But so just pretend one character, Roy Beckwith, he has the full planned out series as a simple circle. And then we break that down into 2 parts, and then 4 parts each. That's 8. That's our 8 arcs. And then 2 parts each. That's 4 issues. And then 4 each of those. And that's gets us to our single issue. And the important part when you're layering is that you can't just add stuff. The goal isn't to add stuff. The goal is to logically lead into the next thing. So if I have 8 plot points for the bigger thing, then 8 plot points down in a deeper layer are the resolution of that is the plot point for the bigger one. So instead of like adding things in deeper layers, you're really just detailing things out, and things logically lead to the bigger arc that's happening, which I think Daredevil on Netflix, before Born Again, was a really good example of that.
Yeah, the first season.
Yeah, that was a really good example of it. So smaller threats building up logically to the bigger threats and that kind of a thing. Pretty good example of it. So yeah, the key in layering is that they need to lead to the plot points of the ones in the higher layers. Otherwise, it's just like you're adding fluff, right?
Sure. So you're basically the ultimate reason probably that you're doing this because you want to create the perfect story. You want to create the story as flawless as possible, right? So does this also create some sort of. I can imagine that you're your own worst critic when you write, so everything needs to be better constantly. Or
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's most writers, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say most. When I was young, I just thought everything I did was amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We all went through that phase. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, as you do more stuff,
Mhm.
and you actually put things out, short films, trying to get feature screenplays made, more and more you realize that you need to be more critical and that you need to learn more. And
Sure.
so I went through 10 years of just deep work on that, and just figuring out how to write better, because me and my filmmaking partner were putting in thousands and thousands of dollars to make short films, and then they weren't as good as I wanted them to be sometimes. And so the question becomes, well, how do I make a script that is so good that it's worth putting thousands and thousands of dollars into making?
Yeah.
And this is what I think that like the MCU lost, is they used to have more time in script and trying to make a good story. And I think Disney lost that in general. It's sad, like, to see the difference. Snow White had a $300,000 budget back in the 30s. That was a lot of money.
No,
You know, that was a lot of money. So, and 100,000 of it went to just the story and the script, which is insane to think about nowadays. No one would do that. But I mean, Snow White was a phenomenon back then, and it's people still watch it. You know.
Yeah, I think that this is perhaps also the result of a constant content. Like you have streaming, you have multiple streaming sites. They all need to compete, so they have to produce content constantly. There's less time to make things, and many people watch many things anyway. So oftentimes it doesn't really matter how good the story is. I think
maybe
for you it does, for me it does, but there are plenty of people who basically watch anything.
Yeah, I mean, some people do, but if you're going to have something long, like Netflix is losing trust with its customers, and that's because they put out so much schlock. No one watches. Most of this stuff on Netflix is just to make it feel like there's stuff on Netflix. Like people aren't watching most of the stuff, but when there's something that actually is good and had time put into it, it blows up and everyone has to go watch it, and everyone has to go get renew their Netflix subscription so that they can go watch this thing. You know, you're not going to have word of mouth with a bad show. You might get one guy who's just puts it on and he's on his phone, or he puts it on while he's falling asleep, but you're not going to get word of mouth. You're not going to get hardcore fans. You're not going to get anyone buying merch. You're not going to get anyone wanting to have a copy of it for themselves or anything like that. So I do think that story does matter, and it matters more than they realize it, but they do want to just put out stuff. They feel like they need to put out stuff. But you notice when something is actually really done well, it rises above all of the rest of the stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Mike says media overload. Yeah, there's a lot out there. Welcome,
stuff.
Dave. Welcome, David Feed. Yeah, there's too much content also, which I often think about that I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter what I do. There's so much content out there. We could basically stop making new movies, new series, new music, new everything, and we have plenty. There's so much out there we don't know yet, because there's much more than we can even consume, right?
Yeah, I think people, younger generations, go to older stuff now. I just know this because I work with some people who are, you know, just getting out of high school, and I train them and stuff. But they are very willing to go watch old movies, and they think old movies are better most of the time. So instead of going and watching the new thing that's out, they just are like, well, I'll go try out this old movie called Alien. I wonder if anyone's ever heard of it. And then they go watch it, and they like it a lot, even though Um, it's not new. It didn't come out recently, but it's new to them, and it has the effect on them that it had on the audience, back then. Maybe an inverse thing though, because they grew up with a bunch of CGI and a bunch of things feeling not so flesh and real. So then they go watch these old movies that are practical effects, and they're like, "Whoa, this is freaking me out," because they can tell that it's not just CGI. They can tell that it's real, and they don't know how they did it. So it feels more visceral to them.
Yeah, that's also a complete discussion about how basically movies and series, it all gets watered down and less special, and there's too much. It's too easy to produce, so when it becomes too accessible to produce, then it loses value also.
Yeah, I think people use technology as an excuse to not care as much.
Yeah.
So, well, we can just pump this out. It's like, well, but should you though? Maybe you should use technology as not an excuse to do faster, but to do better, because you could. Like, I mean, some of the best examples of CGI are when they merge practical with CGI. Christopher Nolan, for example, he does some great stuff there. We're getting, away from comics in general as a discussion, but it's the Force Awakens, which I don't like the movie, but a lot of the effects in it are merged CGI with practical, and it looks fantastic. That movie does look really good, even if I don't like the movie.
That's the movie magic that he used to talk about, and they're kind of losing that because everything is just fake,
Yeah, it's just whip some guys in a basement until they draw it on their computer, So,
all right. We need to switch gears a little bit, because people watching right now, they like what they're hearing. They want to support you, right? They want to see what you're producing. So you are making a comic book series called Roy Backwitch. And people can sign up for that, and then they can read the first pages.
Yeah, so on this page, you could read it. It's not going to be the best experience because it's just like the generic digital PDF. Like, you're going to have to scroll and zoom in and zoom out and everything. But I'm working on something that's a lot better. It's a website that has panel viewing, which I always hated. One of the reasons I hated it was because when you're at a panel that's the full width of the page, you're zoomed out really far and the text is tiny. So what I did with mine is I separated the text layer and the art layer so that the text layer zooms in so that it'll actually be readable size when it's zoomed out to a small panel, a wide panel. So it works really well. If I can present, I could give some people a taste of it.
Yeah, sure, man. So you're making this yourself. That's nuts.
Yeah, like I say, I really care about writing, but then when you want people to read your stuff, which is the only reason that you make it in the first place, I mean, it's not useful if no one's reading it. Then you have to learn marketing, and you have to learn, web design. You got to learn all kinds of stuff, but it is what it is. So,
guys, I put the link to this page, by the way, in the chat. You can check it out, and you can sign up to Nick's mailing list, so you can stay up to date. Remove this. Right.
I'm about to share my screen. I just gotta know which one. How do I do this? Screen sharing. Okay, I want to share my screen. Oh, now I picked the window. Okay, cool. Sorry guys, I should know technology better. But I do not. Here we go. Yeah. it is streaming to you now.
There we go. Yes, add to the stage. There we go.
Yes. So this website's not ready quite yet. It's really close, but basically, it's the full deal. So like I have a homepage.
Yeah.
You can go read. You have your own library where you can see all of the issues that you have, and you can even see there's this cool thing that I think is cool, which seems to have some bugs I'm going to have to fix right now. But it tells you that these are supposed to have colored bars and stuff. A bug must have been introduced in the last update, but it tells you, we have 32 pages scripted of issue 2, 22 pages with line art, 17 with color. It just shows you all of that. And then we got some, preview pages. Yeah, it's cool. I'm excited for that. I think people gave a good reaction to it. I didn't think it was as big of a deal, but I guess some creators don't finish things very timely, and so this is
It
like
happens,
a big
yeah.
deal. Yeah.
So you had some beta testers for this site?
I had a couple. So Crenshaw went and checked it out for me, and he gave me some feedback. And another guy I don't know if I won't call him out because I didn't talk to him about it, but he is a UI designer for his job, and he was like, "Hey, I'll go check it out for you." He didn't have any huge notes. He said, "Don't overhaul it. It's actually really good, but here's some small things." That kind of a thing.
Cool.
But,
Wow.
So yeah, this is the reader though, so it's like you can see the letters are larger than they were like on the printed version compared to the art, and that's because this is a full wide panel, and if I just kept it the same, the text would be tiny. Right.
So what about oftentimes you have like the art and the lettering does coordinate correctly, right? So when you enlarge one thing, does it always work?
It seems to always work this way because I'm able to. There are some like edge cases that are tough, but I've been able so far for the entirety of issue 1 to basically make it work. So
wow.
I'll pan, so it does this. You can see like the motion. Yeah.
That's a separate layer. The lettering.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. Otherwise, I can't really zoom the text separate from the art, right? So, yeah, and it whips in like that,
and everything. Really good.
I appreciate it. So yeah, this was a huge project. This took me a month probably to get all this coded and bugged out and working really well. But from what I can tell, because I don't read digitally much, I have physical stuff, and so I don't really read digitally. But from what I hear, this is nowhere. No one's doing this. Marvel and DC aren't doing this. That's from my understanding.
No, well, you have like some sites that do this, like Global Comics, but you have it more elaborate even with this.
They have panel to panel, which is fine, and that's cool. But there are problems with panel to panel, and I took it upon myself to fix those problems for my own site, because I don't want people to have to squint to read text sometimes, or for it to be huge and ugly sometimes. So yeah, and you can see that I'm able to have the text over this that darkens it, so the text layers over that, so I can give more room to keep because it does scale up the text, which could crowd the panel and crowd the art, but I'm able to do this so that it doesn't it doesn't do that. And so it was a big project. Sometimes this has to happen where it's kind of out a little bit more, and that's just so that this can be there. But I figured that that was worth it. And you can even go into pages, so you can.
It doesn't really matter either, because you make use of the dead space around it. So it's
it makes it feel. I think it makes it feel more cinematic sometimes when that happens. But
Right.
and then so you can pick like what page that you want to read instead of going over on all the panels. You can,
Oh yeah.
you can pick the page you want to go to, and it'll take you. So yeah, it was a big thing.
Really cool.
But
So
yeah,
do you? So I take it you need to work on each individual panel when you put the book in there, right? It's a manual, laborious thing process.
yeah, a little bit. So basically, what I do is it's similar to Global Comics. You go in and you draw a box for each panel.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it for them. But what I have to do is then I position not just I made the program. The program's nuts. It does crazy things. So what the program will do is it'll actually isolate and separate text elements. So it's like one dialogue bubble. I can move that separate from all the other dialogue bubbles and move that to where I want it to be. So I can move this one up, move this one down, whatever it is, and line things up. And then after that, I generate a spread. So basically it just spreads things out more and makes a bigger image. And then I reposition the image for each panel to be back where it was, because the math was too inconsistent. I wasn't able to automate that, but it's actually not that bad. It's not much worse than Global Comics, except that you have more control and more freedom as well, because you can, like I said, you can move the text elements wherever you want, and then it just generates a new image, and that's what it outputs. It was this crazy thing. I wasn't a programmer before I wanted to do this, but
wow.
I needed it. I wanted it really bad, so I learned what I had to learn.
Impressive, man.
But,
really cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was a lot of work, so hopefully people like it. But this website will be available pretty soon. It's a much cleaner reading experience to get the taste of Roy Beckwith to see if you like it. It's much easier to read it this way digitally than it is to sit there and zoom in on a PDF and zoom out and scroll and everything. It's way easier. So it's available. You could do it mobile as well. It works the same way. Instead of clicking, you tap. It's the same thing. And down here you have all of the other issues in the series, and obviously these ones are coming soon and they're not available. But, so yeah, you even have in my library, you have continue reading, so it knows where I left off.
Oh, perfect.
And then I can just click there and it'll take me to that spot. So
I love this, man. It's so cool.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, man. I bet. It's so cool to see indies just making their own new things, right? So you need this. You were missing this from what others were doing, and you just made it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
I do whatever I want, whatever it takes. I made my own fonts for the book as well, and I'd never done that, but I wanted to have my own font, so I figured it out and I did it.
Wow.
A font no one's ever used. Let me get to one actually really fast.
All right.
Cool, yeah, this is my custom font. It's called Graphic Grit, and it's maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so it's called Graphic Grit. It feels familiar because what I did is I took Anime Ace and Comic Sans, and I kind of used those. I put those on a layer, and I kind of was trying to go similar to that, but not too similar. And I wanted it to have my own flair. And because I wanted the comic to feel gritty, there's a little bit of grit in it. It's not just clean lines. It's it's more like brush strokes. It's more gritty. And then let's see if I can get to one. Oh, it's in this one. Yeah. So this is another custom font that I did. This one was the first pass at doing the custom font. and I didn't like it enough. So what I did is I made the other one, and then I realized actually this one's really good for like when people are screaming and shouting, you know. So I started using that one for that. So yeah, my own custom fonts and everything. I don't know. I'm insane, you could probably say. So yeah, this is that first font. So when things are really intense, I'll use that font.
Wow.
Yeah, I even had to do like separate ones that are bold and italics. Like it was crazy. And there's this thing called kerning, which is like comparing.
Yeah.
So like, you know what kerning is?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the audience, if they don't know, it's like you have a letter, say an N, and then you have an O, and you have to decide how close they are to each other. And then you have to do that for every letter.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So it took me a week or two to do it, to just kern. But you know, I thought I only have to do it once. So that's the same thing with the website. Is I said I only have to do it once. So just put in the work now. I'll never have to make the website again. I'll never have to make the panel to panel viewer again.
Wow.
Just put in the work and get it done. And so I did. I got it done.
Impressive, man.
Like
really, really cool. That's your personal touch everywhere. That's nice.
Appreciate it. It's everything's a lot of work. I'm not afraid of work. So
yeah, apparently, really cool. Plus you need to do a lot of research also, because you picked a theme or setting that's it's not very easy, you know.
I've read multiple books, and I'm constantly in Google Maps and looking at where places were, and then looking up histories of towns, and you know, there's all kinds of stuff. And I had to learn a lot about, so like, for example, I had to learn portions of Quechan, which is Native American language. That's like it's like the Midwest. And so I had to learn portions of that so that I could make names for characters. And like, so the Yazito witch is part of the Yazito tribe, which it means small one, because they were a small tribe that were cave dwellers, stayed out of conflicts, tribal conflicts, and were generally small. And I had to learn like about the Yavapai Wars, and which you know, it's just like American cavalry fighting against the Yavapai and the Tonto natives, and there's so much history that I'm looking into as well. A lot of it, and I twist it because this is a magic-ified version of history, basically. Even though it is like it's not Harry Potter. It's not like there's magic everywhere. It's beneath the surface. But it was there, and I twisted things. You know, I see it the way that Tarantino says. He's like, well, if my characters existed, then this would have happened. So like for Inglourious Bastards, he killed Hitler in it. And it's like, but Hitler didn't die then. It's like, yeah, but if these characters that I created existed, he would have. So those are the kind of liberties that I'm taking with history and Roy Beckwith. If this character had existed and this magic thing existed, then this is how it would have played out. And instead of Gia City, that was founded by, I can't remember who it was founded by. Instead of that, it's Claystown, and it was founded by this guy because he found the caves in the Gia Range and mined them first. Like there's like all kinds of like things, liberties that I take with history in that regard, which I have a lot of fun doing. But
really cool. Yes, fantastic work, Nick. Fascinating stuff. As Mike says, well done, Nick. Your willingness to do the hard work is worthwhile, and this is a good-looking Western.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He says Deadwood was a great HBO series. The same goes for Hell on Wheels on 8.
I've heard good things about both of those. I didn't see either of them. and then when I'm doing research, I just tell myself I'm not watching things that are in this. Like, even though I have watched a lot of Westerns just because I have, but I don't want to be inspired by the derivative. I want to be inspired by the actual history. So I'm reading books like Blood and Thunder, which is autobiography of Kit Carson, who is a mountain man and did all kinds of crazy stuff out here. And Men to Match My Mountains, which is, again, it's like historical. Instead of watching the derivatives, I go to the source. So
cool, man. Well, sounds like you're having fun. You have a good concept going on. You put in the work, so I hope people will support you. If there are people watching right now and they want to read your books, can you read them somewhere?
So you'll be able to. So you can read the first 15 pages on the MailChimp link that you put out.
Yeah.
Link
below, guys.
But down below, that's just the first 15. And we've skimmed some of those in this viewer. But pretty soon, I don't know exactly when, this is going to go live, and you can have this nice, clean reading experience of the first 15 pages for free with no sign up. And then I think what I'm going to do is make it so you sign up and make an account for the website that you can then read the rest of issue 1 for free. And we're going to have the campaign for issue 2 coming up in just a few months. We have 22 pages with line art and color, and we're just waiting on the last 10 pages. They're 32-page issues. Issue 1 was 28 pages. The rest of them are going to be 32 because we needed more breathing room. But yeah, so pretty soon, if you follow me on X, I will make it very clear when when the website's ready. I'll probably post about it multiple times. So if you follow me, you'll probably get the notification. Or if you go to the MailChimp, then you'll be in my email list, and I can just get you right there instead of relying on the algorithm, which is getting tougher and tougher. So,
yeah, I know. All right, guys, all the links are below. So go follow Nick, follow his work. And Mike says, good thought process towards writing. Source, no media. I think Chuck Dixon said the same thing about his approach. Go figure. Well, there you go.
Got my name up there next to his. That's cool. Appreciate it, Mike.
Sorry, I missed the first campaign, says Shadow Deer.
No, we had talked about it. I think he wanted in. He must have just missed it. The algorithm didn't feed it to him. That's why we need to get in my email list. Get in there.
It happens. And for the second campaign, you can jump on, so no worries. No worries
exactly.
there.
So.
Welcome, Mo Biggs. Welcome, sir. Welcome. All right, guys. We're at the end of the show, but before we go, guys, I like to share something of my own, because I have something going on right now. As some of you know, it's on Kickstarter right now. It's called the Perfection Collection. So something completely different from what Nick is doing. So if you like superhero stuff, right? This is like, I've been building superhero universe since the 90s, right? And so this character 10, she wakes up in this fully fledged superhero universe. She doesn't know who she is, where she is, why she's there, and she has to figure that out while superpowered beings are trying to kill her, right? So what's going on? We have 6 issues done, guys. Issue 6 finishes the arc. So the first arc, it is done. It is printed. Critical Blast will distribute it in the United States. If you're in Europe, you probably have it already. It's drawn by Pau Rodrigues. Pau Rodrigues also drew Wolverine and Justice League, and I'm so honored to be working with him. It's quality stuff. He's been with me on this series since the first issue, right? And the Perfection Collection will be published by Critical Blast. So they are putting it together right now. They're doing the graphic design for it. So it's at least 192 pages of superhero adventure action. It's really cool. You have some covers, but you also get the variants. Will be in the book also. You can check this out, guys. The link is below. I also pinned it in the chat, and you can also get with this campaign personal commissions from Pau. So Pau will be drawing any character you want. Can be your own, can be mainstream, can be whatever, and you will get the high-res scan plus the original sent to your house, and you can use it for anything you want. Right. So if you want to know the quality of the Perfection collection, we produced this also through Critical Blast, which is the artist edition of Perfect 10 of the first book. Right. It's 132 pages. It's hardcover. This is the quality of the Perfection collection, but the Perfection collection will be even bigger because that's at least 192 pages, and we will be adding some extra material, so you will get a lot for your money, right? All right.
I backed it, so you should too. So
thank you, Nick. Thank you, man.
I'm excited. I've always said it. I've said it on Twitter a few times. I love the name of the
I know, right? I had
collection.
I know. Yeah. I had that name for years. I was so looking forward to finally be able to use it.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited to see what it's all about and read it and get that nice hardcover. So.
All right, thank you, Nick. And that's a good looking witchblade. Yeah, man. Pau knows how to draw the ladies. All right, Nick, thank you so much for being my guest for today. It was really cool to talk to you, to meet you. Really cool. And when you have a campaign going on, just reach out, and you're very welcome on my show.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a fun time. Love chatting with other creators and seeing where things line up. And I always love talking about my structure. So thanks for letting me do that.
Yeah. Fascinating stuff. All right. And special thanks to the chat, to everyone who showed up today. Thank you so much for your feedback, your commentary, your questions, and for liking the stream. If you liked the conversation, give it a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. I'll be back next week. So same channels, same time. Yes. And new guest. So I hope to see you guys then. Have a fantastic Sunday and see you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys.